remember to click like, subscribe, the bell notification, and whatever else YouTube has you clicking on to support us. Welcome everyone, I'm the Kaiju no Kami, and this is my review for the 1979 Super Sentai series Battle Fever J. After the abrupt cancellation of Dengeki Taijaka, Toei teamed up with Marvel Comics to create a tokusatsu-esque Spider-Man television series. Spider-Man, as it has become nicknamed in the States, would become infamous for being the first live-action TV series to feature a transforming giant robot. This concept was so well received that Toei decided to do it again in their next show, which was planned to be about Captain America. Unfortunately, Toei realized that Captain America was going to be a difficult character to sell to Japanese audiences, so they redesigned him as Captain Japan. However, this still did not seem to be enough to make the show stand out from Spider-Man, and as such, they eventually made it a team-based show.
Stand down, Captains! Wolverine's our new Captain Canada.
I am Captain Britain. This is Captain Australia.
G'day, Wolf Guy.
Captain Brazil, Captain Liechtenstein.
Tiny but economically prosperous.
You already know Captain America.
Deeming it Super Sentai with the name Battle Fever J. And thus the long-running franchise was born. How was the first official Super Sentai series? Let's take a look to find out. The heroes. Battle Fever J features a group of people who fight bad guys because it's the right thing to do? They never really do explain what their motivations are. We have Den Masao,
Japan!
Shiraishi Kansaku, Shida Kyosuke, Akabo no Shiro, and Maria Nagasa. Whoa, wait a minute, that's not right. Go back, because actually she's the second Miss America. There was a Miss America before her, Diane Martin.
Miss America! I'm a Barbie girl in the Barbie world, laughing plastic.
The problem is, Diane Martin does jack shit the entire time she is there, making her the most worthless hero in the entire Super Sentai franchise. Sometimes she doesn't even have a freaking line in an entire episode of the show outside of when she is transformed into Miss America. Apparently this is due to Diane Martin not being fluent in Japanese at all, so her lines were dubbed over by Go Rangers Lisa Komaki, and Diane was relegated to being wallpaper. Look, I get it. She was difficult to work with because she wasn't fluent in the language. But maybe you should have thought of that before you hired her for the job. The only character development she got was in the first episode when her adopted father died, and then when we meet her adopted sister in her final episode. Beyond that, there's nothing to mention, which is a shame given how much development both Peggy and Karen received in the previous two series. Naomi Hagi does far more as Maria in her first two episodes than Diane did in all 24 she was featured in. Like Diane, Maria was an FBI agent that joined Battle Fever, and that's about as far as her character is concerned. But hey, at least she did something! While on the subject of team members getting replaced, let's talk about Battle Cossack. For the first half of the series, we have Shiraishi, who was orphaned as a boy,
Of course!
had the priest that was running his orphanage gunned down by mobsters, and then he was adopted by Battle Fever's commander. This in turn is what motivates him to always help and protect children when the need arises. He is also played by Mito Ranger's Yukio Ito.
君のうちは誰かに放火されてしまった。それで君は火事に対して敏感になっている。だから火事が起こることが予感でわかるんじゃないのかな。
The second Battle Cossack is Bon Daisuke's Jin Makoto. You may recognize Daisuke from being the titular hero in Kakaider, and he was also Dr. Ikumo in the Ring series. Here, he plays a former rival of Shiraishi's and strives to be as great a battle Cossack as he was. Jin also lost his best friend, a detective, to the villains of the show, which is also why he puts on a lone gunman persona.
Bend. Chick butts dig, brooding loner bit.
The leader of the group is of course our Red Ranger-esque character, Den. Compared to the previous two Red Rangers, Hironori Tanioka isn't given much to work with, rendering him with an extremely underwhelming performance. We know Den played baseball at one point with a friend who died, and we meet some other former classmates of his.
どうして薄汚い犯罪者になり下がったんだ片山弟の入院費が欲しかったのか片山
Aside from that, he's as one-dimensional as they come. Which is a shame considering the show was originally planned to be a solo series on him and him alone. This begs the question as to whether or not the writers just split his persona across 5 individuals, or if they just did not know what to do with him. Regrettably, the same can be said for Shida, though Yuhei Kuraichi tries to give the best presentation possible even if the material is not there to do so. All we know about this beautician is that he studied French, loves escargot,
美味しそうなエスカルゴですね
nope, is great at fencing, and is sometimes an asshole as seen here.
豆腐の角に頭でもぶつけて死んじまえ
Our hero, everyone! The standout hero of Battle Fever is without a doubt Shiro. Shiro is played by the legendary Kenji Oba, whom you probably know as Space Sheriff Gavin, and he would also take on the role as the Blue Ranger in the following series Denjimon. While we don't know why Shiro lived in Kenya, why he never knew his mother,
俺は母さんの顔すら知らない。大事にしなきゃ。お母さんはな。
he ends up being the best character on the show because he has the most focus and the wildest personality of the entire crew. Everyone else tries to be deadpan serious while Shiro just goes all out crazy.
頭の悪い人ダメなの。
頭が悪いだと
そう無理だと思うよ。じゃあちょっとやってみる。もっと動くな。動くと体中の腕を折れるぞ。
God, you're dumb.
あれりゃ怒りをむ
Thankfully, he isn't loud and obnoxious as silly characters tend to be by today's standards, which is also a nice bonus. It also helps that Oba provides Shiro with a vast range of facial expressions to enhance the situation, whether it is being naive, surprised, annoyed, or even just wanting to share his food with his friends, as is the case when he offers them barbecued snake.
一つどう？ともこちゃん。
Nope again. We even get a moment of tragedy from him when his best friend turns out to be an assassin codenamed Jacko that the villains hire to kill Battle Fever.
どうして殺し屋なんかになり下がってしまったんだ。
金だこの世は金が全てだ
While the costumes are cheap looking, the helmets really set themselves apart from the rest of the franchise as they appear in the form of actual faces with eyes as opposed to visors. I do find this to be a pretty cool design, especially the oddly shaped helmets. I have no idea why Battle Cossack's helmet looks like an Egyptian crown, it just does, despite him representing Russia. On that subject matter, I'm trying to figure out how Battle Cossack even represents Russia. Battle Japan is Japanese. Miss America came from America, lived in America, worked for the FBI. Both of them did, in fact. Battle France, studied in France. Battle Kenya, lived in Kenya. But neither Battle Cossack are Russian, and even studied in Russia, came from Russia, and all that stuff. So, yeah. Not sure how he represents Russia. I should also mention that while Battle Fever does technically feature the first Orange and Black Rangers, they don't color coordinate their heroes. Hence why Gogol 5 is said to be the first series featuring a Black Ranger, and Tokujir the first to have an Orange Ranger. Additionally, Miss America's costume is designed after the Miss Marvel costume Kara Danvers donned in the 70s. Their weapons are nothing unique, though Japan's spear is cool. They have a set of batons that merge together to form either a cannon or a spinning attack to finish off the monsters. Battle Fever's commander is a trained samurai named Kurama Tetsujin. Tetsujin is played by samurai dancer, film star Chiyonosuke Azuma.
よくやってくれたな ジャパンは秘密結社エゴスの正体を暴くためにわしの命令でわざと設計図を盗み出したのだ。
Outside of two moments towards the tail end of the series, Tetsujin does not do too much beyond giving his soldiers orders. There are even times when his only appearance in an episode is through stock footage, which is kind of disappointing. He has two female subordinates that assist Battle Fever in their mission, Keiko Nakahara and Tomoko Ueda. While they don't have too much in the way of character growth, they sure as hell have more screen time than Diane did. We also get to meet Keiko's younger brother, Masaru, who will frequently be one of the endangered children of the week, and Tomoko's younger sister, Yuki, who also ends up being used by the villains in both of her appearances. Not exactly the most amazing characters ever. The villains. 11 is going to love this because the name of our villains is Egos. Waffles. Hey! Even the oven they cook their monsters in has the pattern you would find on a waffle. Our villainous leader is the great Satan Egos. He wants to conquer the world because evil. He is so evil, he will send his generals to their rooms when they fail.
お呼びでございましょうか、サタンエゴス様。
ヘッダーを謹慎処分にしたぞ。
Next up is Commander Header. Header was part of a samurai clan who, loved waffles? I don't know. He's the commander, that's all you need to know. Well, that, and he was actually played by two different actors because the first actor they originally cast in the role, Kenji Ushio, got arrested for the possession of drugs early in the show's run, ultimately ending his career. Kind of ironic that our villain commander gets arrested in real life for drug possession.
マイマシーバトルフィーバーめ今度こそ叩きのめしてやる
Toei did refilm the vast majority of his scenes with Jaka's Masashi Ishibashi in his stead. However, a couple of the original scenes were unable to be refilmed. As such, you'll have moments where Header looks totally different out of the blue, which initially made me think they were two different commanders. During the second quarter, another commander is introduced, Salome, played by woman wrestler Maki Ueda. Salome was stationed in America as the person in charge of assassinating political figures such as JFK until she was called to Japan in order to help Header take out Battle Fever. The Cutmen, the grunts of the series, look like they are the prototype of the Golems and Jew Ranger due to their gray outfits with the black slash designs over their bodies. They're nothing special, then again, neither are the monsters of the week. Most of them are pretty forgettable, though the ones that aren't do have some cool things going on. First, we have this excellent delight, whose plans are to take over the world by making people eat eggs. Never mind. We actually do get some continuity with this plot, as a few episodes later we are treated to this walking French delicacy.
また料理作戦でございますか。この前の金の卵と目玉焼き作戦はエゴスの地獄料理ならこのカタツムリ怪人にお任せあれ。
Once more, I repeat, nope. The best of them all, however, is hands down Skull Mushroom Monster. Also, don't let it be said Egos does not have a sense of humor, as we see here with Modi Food Monster after it has been run over by a truck.
なんと変わり果てたお姿。
On the other hand, they have no qualms about killing children either.
女子中学生謎の投身自殺。
Oh snap.
Now, unlike monsters in other shows, the ones here do not grow at all. Instead, they are accompanied by a giant robot version referred to as either a little brother or a little sister. Lastly, I want to mention that this actually features the first appearance of Machiko Soga in a Sentai series as she plays one of the monsters of the week.
あなた、面白いもの持っているそうね。
どうしてそれを？
見せてくださる？
Oh my.
The Mecha. Being that Battle Fever J is the first Sentai series to feature a giant robot, it's pretty basic. And yet, the design is magnificent. It's just a single transforming robot named Battle Fever Robo that is transported to the Rangers via a carrier ship called Battle Shark.
Oh my.
While it may seem odd to have a mech that doesn't transform or combine to the audiences of today, it does allow for much more dynamic fight sequences as it meant the suit actor was not covered in excessive amounts of material. Granted, by the halfway point the mech fights started to feel repetitive, yet I enjoyed them quite a lot due to this dynamic. Battle Fever Robo has a diverse variety of weapons that do allow fights to turn out different, and what is even odder is he doesn't actually have an official finishing attack until the second quarter of the show. Another thing I do like about this aspect though is that not every episode has a mech battle. Battle Fever Robo isn't introduced until episode 5, and while he is definitely a main feature for the show, like I said, there will occasionally be an episode here or there that doesn't have a giant monster appearing, which is nice to see. Not to mention it does provide some interesting content when the monster of the week is an actual human actor as opposed to a costumed one. The effects and music. The effects and music are pretty good for the time, especially the superimposing scenes that will often be shown. To my dismay, however, there wasn't anything special about the fight choreography nor the camera work. They were fine, I just wish they had more oomph to them. Of course, given that this was the first of its kind, at least until Toei decided to categorize Go Ranger and Jacka in there, it's understandable things won't be at their best. Still, I do give the production team a lot of credit for pulling off what they could, even if they weren't always successful, as seen here with this dull green screen effect. Michiaki Watanabe's music is also standard show fare. There's some good tracks, with an excellent one in a later episode. The opening and closing songs are pretty good too, and they are effective in getting you into the show and taking you out of it. For some reason, it took 3 artists to perform the opening theme, which includes Mojo, Kurogi73, and Feeling Free. On the other hand, Mojo is the only one who sings Yushigayuku. The episodes. Despite not having an ongoing plot, the vast majority of Battle Fever J was an entertaining ride. Unlike Jacka, it knew what type of show it wanted to be and stuck with that tone throughout. I also have to applaud the series for trying new things, such as the addition of giant monsters and mech battles, along with replacing 2 of its main heroes halfway through the show. This is something I feel the shows of today could benefit from doing just to change up the formula. Nevertheless, the show still suffers immensely from the aforementioned crap dealing with Diane's Miss America. In fact, her inability to do anything is exactly why Hazardous Ghost Hunting is hands down the worst episode of the series. In this one, strange occurrences have been happening at an all-girls school. One of the students there committed suicide and the girls believe her ghost haunts the school. Alrighty then. As such, they ask Battle Fever for help. How does Battle Fever respond to the situation? Do they send Diane in there to pretend she is one of the students? You know, the female member of the team? Nope. Instead, Boshiro and Shiraishi cross-dress in an attempt to sneak into the school in order to protect the girls.
Oh, ただいま戻りました。
その顔で女に化けようなんてずいぶんね。なんていう男たちばっかりなんでしょ。
Another negative I need to mention is the lackluster final battle. I normally don't like to talk about the endings to a series due to spoilers, but I am making an exception in this case as the final battle is an utter joke. The villain just sits with his legs crossed as the Rangers throw their weapon at him until he explodes. Now with that out of the way, let's talk about my favorite episode. How bizarre, a costume party. This one features Skull Mushroom Monster as he leads our heroes into a costume party. We get to see the Rangers dressed up in goofy costumes.
あいつめ、食い気の次はダンスかよ。
あんなダンスあったかしら。
I'm not sure how to respond to that one. Some crazy antics involving a painting. And Ego's gunning down poor innocent partygoers. God damn. Overall, it's just a blast of an episode and a good time all around.
You're goddamn right.
Lastly, I do want to mention that while Battle Fever did have a theatrical film, it was just the 5th episode of the series cropped for the big screen. Overall, while I did enjoy Battle Fever J as a whole, the annoyances in regards to Miss America, the lackluster plot, the horrid climactic battle, and the one-dimensional characters did add up enough to take 2 points away from the show. As such, I am going to be giving Battle Fever J a disappointing, yet well-deserved 3 out of 5 grown-ups in spandex. Like I said, it's a fun show and definitely worth checking out. Just don't go in expecting a masterpiece. If you just go into it wanting to have some brainless fun, you're going to be quite happy with the results. Until next time, bye.